This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So, what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
I have heart failure, and being out of breath all the time was just too much.
My lower back pain was interrupting family time.
My carpal tunnel syndrome was taking me away from work. That's why I talked to my cardiologist about my symptoms.
That's why I talked to my cardiologist.
That's why I talked to my cardiologist and discovered I had ATTR-CM, or transthyretin cardiac amyloidosis.
If you have heart failure and new or worsening symptoms, it could be ATTR-CM. ATTR-CM is a serious heart condition often accompanied by other non-heart-related symptoms. Talk to your cardiologist today and see what's possible. Vindamax, tafamidis, is a prescription pill taken once a day to treat adults with ATTR-CM to reduce death and hospitalization for heart problems. Tell your doctor about all your medications, medical conditions, and if you have liver problems or breastfeeding, pregnant, or plan to be. There are no known side effects with Vindamax. For prescribing information, call 1-877-278-9632. Learn more at Vindamax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Number one on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
Handoff goes inside to Barkley. He's at the 5. He's in for his first touchdown of the season. Barkley. Jalen Carter made the stupidest mistake by getting himself ejected before the first snap from scrimmage by spitting at Dak Prescott. But somehow or other, the Eagles overcame a 7-0 deficit, a 14-7 Dallas lead, pulled away. And they have beat the Dallas Cowboys 24-20.
The great Merrill Reese on the call, still sounding amazing. He's been calling Eagles games for 300 years, and it's amazing how great he still sounds.
300 years.
Maybe needs 3 spotters instead of 1 these days, but still, Merrill is the man, and he's doing it, and he's doing it his way. You gotta love it. It's the Daily Ticket with you here. Always concerning when you get a kid in school, Kyle Fisher. This is new to me. So now when these new phone numbers pop up, I'm like, something going on? But no. We're all right. We're talking birds here. Kyle Fisher joining us on a Football Friday. Let's go. Of course, Kyle is a busy, busy man with the Phillies doing what they're continuing to do here in the month of September, covering the Fightins, of course, the Eagles, for everything over at the Philly Sports Network. And then, oh, by the way, heading out to Green Bay. Of all places, you get to see Micah Parsons in game 1, hopefully. And the Detroit Lions, which is going to be a banger of a game out there on the sideline following Tracy Wolfson for CBS Sports. I just want to say, I am a CBS Sports HQ aficionado.
Okay.
I wake up, I watch it, I come home, I watch it, I almost said TiVo. I DVR a lot of the programs from college football. They do college football. Look, ESPN does it well. But for my money, CBS Sports, I think is better than ESPN right now.
ESPN's kind of strayed away from what made it great at one point. I mean, clearly it's working for them. It's driving ratings on some level, but they're going more for a few focused personalities as opposed to delivering unique sports content. It's more about today's talking head saying a lot of things and saying them in an animated way more than it is about delivering facts and interesting insights. And CBS is stuck to the formula that used to work, and it's working for them. So I agree with you. I like that approach better, but you can't deny what ESPN is doing either, because clearly they're still a ratings monster. So
yeah, and it's ESPN, it's the mothership, and they will always be the ratings monster. Everybody thinks of ESPN when sports happen, but if you're not watching CBS Sports HQ, give it an opportunity, especially in the morning. It's highlights. It's not, the banter between the announcers or whatever, broadcasters. Bottom line is anchors, excuse me. That was the word I was looking for. They give you what's happening in the world of sports. They cover it all. PGA, it doesn't matter. They're on it. And I happen to think that they have some good personalities over there as well. So CBS Sports shout out. All right, let's go ahead and talk about last night's game. Open up the show by saying, Kyle, for me, my big takeaway is this. It's week one. It was week one. If you thought going into it that they should be the team that beat the Chiefs, which is historically one of the best teams we've ever seen, I don't know why you would think that. It's a new season. It's a new play caller. It's everything is fresh. And yeah, a lot of the same pieces are there. I get it, but it's just, it's game one. Hands on hips. You saw offensive linemen tired. It's just, we got to ease into this. It is a week one victory over the Dallas Cowboys. It starts and ends there for me. Your thoughts, though?
Yeah, I agree. It's week one. None of the starters played in the preseason. It's a new play caller. They played later than every other team except for one last season. They all had way more media in the offseason than they did the season before. You want to say that those things don't matter, but we saw what it did to the 2008 Phillies. We saw a little bit of an effect on the 2018 Eagles. It's happened to numerous teams before slow starts. It's not, and you still won. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what matters. Championship DNA is built in winning games that you shouldn't win, and that's what they did yesterday. There was a lot of opportunities. I mean, I know we're probably going to get into it, but if I told you that A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith would combine for 4 catches, you would have 9 penalties for 110 yards, and your MVP caliber running back would run for 3.3 yards before the game, what would you tell me?
They lost.
Yeah, and they win the game still. So to me, that's championship DNA. That's winning DNA right there. You win however you can. You control what you can control. And hey, we might not have our best stuff, but we go out there. I think it almost perfectly encapsulates that hype video that they put out before the game. What does toughness mean to you? So many of the players in that interview, in those interview segments, mentioned it's still fighting when you don't have your best stuff. It's the mental fight more than it is the physical fight, and they showed that last night.
I could play devil's advocate. I could be one of those talking heads on the other radio stations, and you and I could be good cop, bad cop here. And I could easily look at the defense going, Kyle, I know Jalen Carter was in there, but I don't think this team is going to have success getting after the quarterback. I just don't see it. Oh, that cornerback 2, that's going to be an issue all season long. What are we doing there? There are plenty of things that we can address, and I could raise it up and make more of a mountain out of a molehill here. Again, week one victory, that's where we're at. But there are concerns. With that being said, what are your thoughts as far as the defense is on the defensive side of the ball, getting after the quarterback? Did not register a sack, only 1 quarterback hit with Dak. Yeah, no Jalen Carter. That's going to have a huge impact on the game. That would be a significant difference to have him in there, frees up everybody else. But do you think it's as simple as that? Get Jalen Carter in, and this defense is going to be ferocious.
Yeah, I don't know if it completely evolves them, but it's a huge difference. He's a major impactful player. I did like what I saw from Jordan Davis yesterday. I feel like he made a lot of good moves, played the most plays most snaps he's played in 4 years, and the guy looked incredible. So I would say that that was a good sign to me, that once you have Jalen Carter back in there, that there's growth there. They talked about, some of the edges might not happen, but once the linebacker core is healthy, they're going to use Jahad Campbell a little bit differently. I think that he could bring some pressure off the edge as he did in college. So, and I liked what I saw from him. Him and was Makuba. Both of them, I thought both of them did a lot to force potential breakout plays back up the middle into pressure. So while they didn't get after Dak all that well, I think the Cowboys played a very good game plan against a weakened defensive front. And overall, I think that it paid off. But again, we talked about it, week one victory regardless.
How about this? Breaking news on the timeline. Eagles, right on cue. Bring in Zadarius Smith, a defensive end, formerly with the Detroit Lions, on a 1-year deal. Adam Schefter says, quote, it's another pass rusher for the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, always concerning to the fact that he is out there, but bottom line is there are plenty of players that were not signed that we will see get the phone call from time to time as the season gets started here. Now, Zadarius Smith, Kyle Fisher, I'm not going to sit here and believe that he's going to come in here and all of a sudden change the game and be that guy, but it's another move that Howie Roseman clearly saw that they needed to bring in some bodies, keep people fresh. Zadarius Smith, the last time was with the Detroit Lions. did he get traded by the Browns? I forget what happened there, but he played for the Browns and the Lions. I think there was that trade, if I'm not mistaken, because Hutch went down with the injury. So I think that's why the Lions were aggressive. They made the move last year. Total sacks for Za'Darius last year, 9 on the season. Played the previous year with the Cleveland Browns, had 5.5. One season with the Minnesota Vikings, had 10. When I think of Za'Darius, I think about him with the Green Bay Packers. Had a pretty good 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. But again, for me, the big picture is that Howie saw one game, said, you know what? We're not where we need to be in this department, and therefore I need to go out there and make a move. I love Howie Roseman. Somebody at Stateside Live yesterday had a Howie frickin' Roseman jersey, and I wanted to buy it. It said Roseman on the back and then a dollar sign, and he was walking around with a ring too. Oh, it was perfect.
Okay.
Undefeated in that jersey, he said. But your thoughts on Howie Roseman making a move here as Za'Darius?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a solid move. It's we know what he's done in the past. Doesn't mean he's going to come in here and be a huge difference maker right off the bat. But it's a team that knows themselves. You know, that's a big move from Howie Roseman. He could do the classic, we're good and we got some time to figure it out. Where this is kind of like their preseason. No, he saw a need. There was always talk all offseason how they might need an additional edge rusher. He didn't like what he saw. Goes out and makes a move. My guess is that they didn't see yesterday and say, you know what, we got to go get this guy. They were probably one of a few people interested in the past few weeks, and then they go out and get him. After the trade, which you mentioned from Cleveland last season, he tallied 4 sacks with Detroit. Now, Detroit's defense is great, but so is Vic Fangio's. He also tallied 36 quarterback pressures, ranking 3rd in pressures in the final 8 weeks of the season after the deadline. So even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, putting pressure on the quarterback, partnering him with an improved Jordan Davis, with Jalen Carter once he's back in the lineup. We'll have to see what happens from Loogie Gate, but we'll have to see what the fallout is there. But yeah, that's a solid move. Breaking news for sure, but solid move. Bring him in. If he can get pressure on the quarterback, that's what they need.
Yeah, it's just a spot where Howie Roseman is saying, you know what, I'm not happy. I know we can make some moves here. I had him probably on the chart or on the bulletin board in the office and said, you know what, let's make that phone call. Let's bring him in here. I'm curious, though. Let's talk a little bit about that cornerback 2 position and where we're at with that, because Jackson was a disaster. I'm not a Ringo guy. So where do they go now? I know other players were playing last night. Some players showed some flashes that they could potentially be the guy. Is that CB2 on the roster in your mind? Or do you think, hey, look, you got to stay with Jackson. You got to give Ringo a shot here. Where are you at with that discussion? Because clearly it was an issue.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to see Keely Ringo get a shot. He was supposed to be the guy coming in. It seems like they keep giving him chances, and he hasn't really wrapped his arms around that opportunity just yet. Excuse me 1 second.
Clear it, baby.
I mean, Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson. Nobody screams a standout performer at the moment, and I don't think they want to use Coop in that role, whether he's not ready or they just feel more comfortable with him in a dime or a potential safety move. You don't want to teach him too many things at once. Kind of let him get his feet wet in this new hybrid role that they projected for him during training camp. One thing that adding Za'Darius Smith and getting additional pressure on the quarterback will help is making that matter a little bit more, because quarterback's going to have to get a little bit less, rather, because the quarterback will have to get the ball out of their hands a little bit quicker. Don't have the time to go through their progressions, maybe. So that should help support that. But ultimately, if you're just talking about the backs, what we learned is that it's still a problem. That's what we learned in game 1.
Yeah, and it's tough because you know how talented Cooper DeJean is, right? But he's playing his spot really well. So do you want to mess with that, right? Don't mess with happy. Don't mess with good either. So I'm kind of where that conversation is. But it's clear that was part of the plan for the Cowboys. We're going to attack CB2. We're going to stay away from Quinyon as much as possible. Now, they did take shots, especially that one down the field that CeeDee Lamb did drop. That was on Quinyon. But bottom line is these offensive coordinators are smart. Like, hey, man, that's clearly an issue or a spot we need to target. So I think the Eagles need to be proactive there. Don't know what's available, but I think you either got to be crafty here or figure it out real fast. And next week, they have the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a pretty good passing attack. We'll see them in action tonight. So it's clearly something that Howie Roseman needs to address. We'll see what happens on that one. Anything else to add to that conversation?
Yeah, just, they're not going to have that week, that really early bye week like they did last year, to take a moment and pause to figure some things out. So it's going to be a little bit of a different challenge. Maybe an outsider being brought in is the move, at least to put a Band-Aid on it until they get some time to figure it out internally.
Wow, Packers listed Parsons among 7 other players questionable for Sunday.
Ooh, I'll have to check in with my girl Tracy, see what she thinks. He was at practice today, but
I saw him practicing. He looked fine.
It seems like he's going to practice, but they probably just want, you have to give guys designations. Hey, he's been hurt. Let's give him the questionable. We don't want to guarantee anything, and we'll put him out. They don't want to get accused of not letting it be known or anything like that. So you put it this way. I hope he plays, because it would be really excited to see a guy like Micah Parsons, since the first time since college, being able to root for him without instead of watching and hating everything that he does on the field.
Green Bay 2.5-point favorites, 47.5. That's a game at 425. Quickly on this, the 4:00 games on Sunday, Titans and Broncos, 4:05. That's a big, big game. That is survivor play number 1 for everybody from coast to coast. Broncos have taken the most action in survivor pools, no matter where you're at. They're 8.5-point favorites. It was the biggest spread on the board. I think the Eagles did go off. Yeah, Eagles did go off at 8 in most shops, 8.5 as well. So tied there. But for Sunday, it's the biggest spread on the board. So no surprise that everybody is taking the Broncos there. 4:05. We got the 49ers and Seahawks in NFC West battle. Hawks plus 1.5 at home. Dogs, Christian McCaffrey, that came out the news as far as after a practice, his calf started acting up. They said it's not the end of the world, but it is definitely something that should be concerning to McCaffrey / 49ers fans. Also at 4:25, you got the Lions and Packers, as we just discussed there. And then the Texans and the Rams close up the 4:00 window at 4:25. LA at home against a really good defensive team in Houston. Speaking about bad backs with Parsons, of course, the big storyline from the offseason was Matthew Stafford and everything he's got to go through to get ready for this game. They're 3-point favorites. 43.5 is our total on DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, staying with the Birds last night. Jalen Carter, there's not much that I can add other than the fact that, it can't happen. He should know better. I don't have any interest in saying, well, Dak did it first. I'm ready to move on from it entirely. I think Nick Sirianni, with what he said, was perfect. If you didn't hear how Nick Sirianni addressed it after the game, I'll play it for you right now, but I think the coach absolutely nailed this.
Yeah, I'm going to keep all our conversations and all my disciplinary things in-house, but we got to fix it as coaches.
Right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, Kyle. Look, these things happen. These are modern-day gladiators. Cooler heads should prevail, but I'm not about to go compete for 60 minutes at my job head-to-head where I'm attacking, and it's about, getting after the quarterback and just breathing fire. No, when I walk into this building, I come in here and I sit down in a nice, comfortable chair. I don't have anybody spitting around me or anything like that. Dak spit. Jalen Carter got caught up in a moment. It's a shame he got thrown out. I think we would have saw a drastic difference on that side of the ball if he's out there. Unfortunately, he missed game 1. We'll see him back in action for game 2 against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's all I really have to say about it. What do you have to say?
Yeah, there's not much to say. I mean, he knows it can't happen. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. You do want to start there, right? You could say, it was a small thing. He spit for... You have to be better than that. You have to be more mature. I don't care how young you are. I know everybody talks about, I don't want him to lose the grittiness that might cause him to be a guy who reacts that way, but you got to know better. They're baiting you, dude. That's what that was, right? And if you want to be able to repeat, you have to be able to keep a cooler head. It wasn't even a big moment in the game. It was before the game even started, and you let yourself go a little bit. But I like what he said what he said after the game. I think it was, and I apologies if it wasn't, but I think it was Reuben Frank on the post game who said, I needed him to show more remorse. So you wanted him to read a pre-written PR statement? No, I'd much rather hear from the guy. And his response was, I know it can't happen. I haven't talked to my coach and my quarterback yet, but I intend to, and intend to prove to the team that they can believe me that it's not going to happen again. And I've said that's not a direct quote, but it's to me, there's not much more to say. It happened. If something like this happens again, whether it's spit or a silly personal foul penalty or something going above and beyond, then you start being concerned about it. Week 1, emotional reaction. They'll work to get it under wraps. And if they do, it's a big non-issue.
That's what it comes down to for me. And Ruben Frank, yeah, of course he would say something like that. I get it. Ruben Frank one time like rolled his eyes at me when I was in I've told this story many times before. It was the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. And, there's a lot of people in there that maybe don't cover the team from week to week. And Zach Ertz, I finally got an opportunity to get him. I was doing stuff for Fox 29, and he was so mad that I asked my question before him. He's like, oh, he did that. Like, it took a lot for me not to say something to him afterwards. Like, dude, really? Like, what? Did you have an issue with that? Like, what's going on here? It was just like, relax, dude. But he thinks he's the smartest man out there. He is good. He's good at what he does. I do like reading his posts. Not going to lie about that. But he is, a diva.
Little old school mentality there for sure. Old school mentality.
My wife.
The beat reporters have to get their question in first. Okay, just ask the question. Like
my wife walked by the TV one time and she goes, there has never been a woman on television that looked like that ever in life. I was like, you got me on that one. All right, let's keep it moving. Yeah. Having some fun here, Kyle Fisher. All right, so defensive issues, of course, they got to figure that out as far as cornerbacks are concerned. Let's talk about the quarterback. Get your thoughts as far as Jalen Hurts and his performance last night. For me, I opened up the show saying 19 of 23, allowing the game to come to him and making those 2 touchdown scampers into the end zone and just being the difference in the game. This is the guy that I've been so proud that he is our quarterback. It's not a shock that he's been in 2 Super Bowls, won 1. And if you continue to play like that yesterday, allowing the game breathe, come to you, make plays where you need to. Jahan Dotson, hell of a play there. Like, all is good in my world, right? But the issue is that, like, that these receivers need to be fed. That things are going to happen eventually. And it's not a media thing. This is A.J. Brown. So he's not going to be happy if 3 straight weeks they win, and yet he only tallies up 5 total catches in those 3 games. So there's got to be a little bit of, a yin to the yang here, Kyle. And I don't think I'm off by saying that. This isn't rah-rah high school football. It sucks to say it, but these guys have egos and they want to eat. So what is your takeaway from last night? And do you have any concerns as far as the passing game is concerned and getting the ball to A.J. Brown, getting the ball to Devontae Smith, forcing it their way, in fact, and allowing them to make plays?
I'd be interested to hear a candid version of what the game plan was last night, because nobody knows except for the people in that building if AJ's still nursing something, if part of the game plan was to use him as a decoy. But a lot of folks who have watched the All-22 feel that way, feel like he wasn't moving as explosively as he might normally do. That will be an indicator, right? If it comes out that he is dealing with something and he doesn't see a large target share the next couple of weeks, that might be a reason. If he's fully healthy and looks explosive, and then you also don't see a large target share, that's where it's a concern. To me, it's you use him as a decoy, you see what you can do. They took the underneath. They took a slow approach to the game as they unraveled this new game plan from Kevin Patullo. But to me, it was, I hate to go back to this, but it's week 1. Let's see how it goes in the next couple of weeks. I know that it's not as you have a long period of time as baseball, and whatever, call me a baseball guy, but we have a little bit to figure out if this is going to be a true problem or not. And to me, it's just not one yet. To me, overall, Jalen Hurts had a great game. You saw what he did. He threw a dime to Dotson, similar to what he threw in the Super Bowl. I mean, the guy made throws when he had to. He used his legs to make things happen when he had to. A huge 3rd down run. The touchdown, which was not a tush push, it was an actual scramble. He doesn't scramble that much, and he made it work. His explosiveness looks like it returned to what it did that season on the first Super Bowl run. I think people were worried that he didn't look as explosive on his cuts the last 2 seasons, and I saw some of that in week 1. And again, no preseason, so just getting his feet underneath him. You mentioned he was 19 for 23. Well, one was a drop by Saquon, which wide open. The other 3 were throwaways.
Yep.
So outside of one drop, he was 19 for 19.
Dan Orlovsky said he was perfect.
Don't count. Like
Dan Orlovsky said he played perfect game last night.
He hit Barkley in the hands. Remember when everybody freaked out about last year when they threw the ball to Barkley and they didn't get the first down because he dropped it?
Well,
didn't cost him as much this year, but
shouldn't have thrown the ball there, but that's all right.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that right now, Sean. You're just going to make me mad.
If they didn't throw the ball, they win the game. If they don't throw the ball, they win the game. But that's all right. That's all
they
right.
won the big one. That's what matters.
I know. Oh, and I was so heated over that. I was so mad over that one.
Oh, I remember listening.
Yeah, that was bad. All right. But yeah, like Jalen Hurts, come on, man. It's just funny because I don't allow these things to seep into my head, but we see them and like the takes, and it's like, oh man, I'm not trying to give credence to any of these thoughts that are out there from these talking heads that are like, well, Jalen Hurts and this and this and that as far as passing. Like, we know how good this dude is, and he is so smart, and he continues to grow. And it's just incredible to see this on a weekly basis with a new play caller. I don't think that gets talked about enough. I know you address it all the time, rightfully so. So here he is again with a new guy he needs to get comfortable with. And I just thought Jalen played a great game yesterday, a great game. And unfortunately, egos are out there at the professional level. And I don't think it's going to be a game where A.J. Brown is only catching one ball. He's that talented, but the one ball he did catch was pretty damn big.
Yeah. A sign to me that I would say for maybe they were trying to hide A.J. a little bit as he continues to recover and use him as a decoy. They used 12 personnel, so running 2 tight ends, 33, almost 34% of the time. They used 13 personnel, so 3 tight ends rolling out there. Now, whatever, one of them is considered a fullback at times, but they did that 13% of the time yesterday. They did it 3.2% of snaps last season. So there was a clear difference in we want as many big bodies out here. We want shorter routes. We want protection for our quarterback to make things happen with his legs. We want protection for Barkley to make things happen with his legs. It was just a different game plan that didn't call for those guys to come up big. And the one catch that AJ had, like you said, it was a big one.
Yeah, it really was. Eagles end up winning 1-0 on the season. Howie Roseman just made a move for Zadarius Smith, defensive end, who's going to come in here and be the edge rusher and fill in a little bit of the void there to help out with some bodies on the rotation. That's a good get there. A lot of people singing the praise of Howie yet again. 3-time Pro Bowler, a guy that had 9 total sacks for 2 different teams last year from Cleveland and the Detroit Lions. A lot to discuss as far as the Birds are concerned. We'd love to get your thoughts. One big takeaway from last night, Kyle Fisher, for me, it's 1-0 on to the next. And oh, by the way, Kansas City playing tonight, so we get to scout the opponent. That as if we don't know enough about Kansas City. And that's a big one next week where Kansas City is already a 1.5 favorite at home against the Birds, 425 next Sunday. But your big takeaway, if I did not allow you to say they're 1-0, it was a win over the Cowboys in division. If I remove that from the conversation, what's a big takeaway for you?
Your star running back rushed for 3.3 yards. Your star wide receiver had 1 catch. Your second receiver had 3 catches. You had 110 penalty yards. Your best defensive player was thrown out of the game before it started, and you walked away with a victory. To me, that shows a lot about the character and the DNA of this team, the toughness of this team. The only other thing I can think of about, besides weighing all those things, is obviously you need to cut down on the penalties. But if Carter is going to be emotional enough to spit on the quarterback before the game even starts, what is he going to do against a team that wants their lick back next week? So this next week, as much of the focus needs to be on game planning for the Kansas City Chiefs, somebody needs to be working with Jalen Carter one-on-one on some deep breaths, some breathing exercises, some woosah, and make sure you stay focused on the game because you're going to need it against the tough Kansas City Chiefs team.
You're right about that. Chiefs and Chargers tonight, 3-point spread. Chiefs and Chargers both in Brazil, Kyle Fisher. Hey now, have you ever been to Brazil?
I have not.
I was wondering maybe they sent you there. Who had that game last year? NBC? NBC had that game? Eagles
I believe it was NBC, yeah.
Does NBC have tonight too?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Never ask a question you don't know the answer to.
Let's find out.
I think that is the case. Obviously, CBS doesn't have it. You would have known that.
I would have known that.
Fox doesn't have it. It's an NBC game.
NBC. All right.
Yeah. All right. A take on tonight's game, if you would. 3-point spread Chiefs. For me, I look at, let me bring down the salsa music, although it is very soothing. Ever go salsa dancing?
No.
Me neither.
I would enjoy it though. I enjoy a nice little dance. You know, I might not be the most every wedding. I'm out on the dance floor. So a couple weeks ago, I usually try and run things if I can, depending on the other groups. So
get out of here.
Oh yeah, man. I go out there. I get after it. My knees hate me the next day, but I enjoy it.
Love it. All right. As far as this game is concerned, I do look at the Chiefs. I don't know how you'd bet against the Chiefs. They just find ways to win these games. And I really do feel like you are going to see a rejuvenated Kelsey. You're going to see an offensive attack with, of course, those receivers that they have on the Chiefs side, specifically Xavier Worthy, who I think is going to have a big, big season. But it comes down to just that championship mentality, DNA, as you just pointed out with what we saw at the Eagles. It just applies here for the Chiefs. Now, I want to give credit to the Chargers, but losing Slater at the tackle position, that is a huge loss. Huge loss. I'm still wondering about the skill position players from the Chargers. I know defensively they got some players over there as well. Like Harbaugh's a really good coach. I want to believe in him. It's a tight game. It's a 3-point spread. It's not a coin flip. It's a 3-point spread. But I'm going to take the Chiefs here. It's week 1. We don't know much, or we need to learn a little bit more about both these teams, who they are in 2025. But if you maybe make a play tonight, and I'm going to have action on it, it's a Friday night game here in Brazil. Give me the Chiefs -3. Your thoughts?
You're right. It is hard to bet against them. I think the big thing is going to be watching everybody knows that Justin Herbert has an electric arm, but Harbaugh really did a good job of developing the run game last year. Chiefs went out and made a trade on the defensive line because they weren't satisfied with what they saw in the preseason. So it'll be interesting to see if Najee Harris plays alongside the rookie Omarion Hampton. Let's see what that looks like. That's probably the most intriguing matchup for me, is how does the run game look against the Chiefs, especially because obviously that's the Eagles' strength. So that would be what I would watch. I would still bet the Chiefs if I'm putting money down, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I think you have a close game, and the Chiefs, not maybe the exact layout of last night's game, but I think you have a pretty close game between those two.
Or is it on YouTube?
I was actually about to. Yeah, I'm seeing that it's on YouTube. Maybe it's produced by NBC, but it looks like the game's going to be on YouTube.
So this isn't on.
I guess not. I guess, dude, you have to have 9 streaming services to watch the entire NFL now. It's crazy.
There's a NFL game on. Yeah, they've done this before, Sean. What am I doing?
It was on Netflix last year, but
yeah. Good grief. All right, my fault. I did see that on ESPN on the box score here. It says YouTube. I'm like, wait a minute. It's not NBC. My fault. But it is produced by NBC. So you'll hear, I believe. Yeah, we'll learn. Nobody cares.
I didn't even know where it was going to be. So
that's right. Yeah, well, Colin Cowherd didn't actually even know it was being played in Brazil. So it is what it is.
That's better than us. We knew that.
Yeah, we did know that. All right. So I'm looking at Worthy. I think he's going to have a big game here. Anything from a player perspective that you would look at, maybe we can give a lean to for some people out there that are looking for some same game parlay help here. Are you buying into Ladd McConkey being as good as he was last year? Do you think Travis Kelce can turn back the hands of time? Or make it look like a playoff game? Because that dude is awesome in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Foot off the gas pedal during the regular season, but it's game 1. Just got engaged with Taylor Swift. Is this a Travis Kelce night tonight?
I was going to say a couple days extra rest between this game and week 2. You just got engaged, bringing some energy. Yeah, I think he's a guy you can look at. I also like Ladd McConkey a lot, so I think that could be a move. I haven't looked at the props, so if you got an interesting one between the two of them, and pin one down for you. But
well, Lad McConkey, for as far as putting the touchdown to side here, 80 plus receiving yards. Sheesh, plus 114. You can get him at 70 plus at minus 129. Trying to find receptions. Receptions for Mr. Lad McConkey, 6 plus at minus 127. I know he had a great season last year, but good grief. Again, who else are they throwing the football to, I guess, is the question you have to ask yourself.
Keenan Allen's back, baby. Come on.
And
McConkey, excuse me. I said McConkey, tripping over myself.
We know who you meant. He did have 82 grabs, 112 targets last year, over 1,100 yards. So, he had a hell of a season, 7 touchdowns. And, of course, that was the year Herbert didn't turn the football over at all. Did have a great season up until that playoff game where he did throw 4 interceptions against the Texans. But Lad, pretty darn good. And, man, it's crazy to think that Bowers and him really good on that Georgia squad, came from the same damn team. Incredible stuff there.
Yeah.
All right. And then Xavier Worthy, that's my guy from the Chiefs. I'm going to rock with him on that one. Take him for yards, take him for receptions, take him for anytime touchdown. I'm all about Xavier Worthy tonight. I think Andy Reid has been scheming up all during the offseason, getting ready for this matchup to get the ball in his hands. So that's where I'm looking for tonight. All right, let's get the Sunday card. I want to get your thoughts as far as some of these games here. We'll go down and start at 1:00 and just to see if we can find maybe a dog that is barking, because now is the time, Kyle, that maybe we can allow ourselves to believe that the sports books don't know everything, right? Like we're learning. We're all going to learn at the same time. So maybe some of these dogs don't need to be as big as underdogs as they are. Maybe some of them are barking really loud and we can throw some money line parlays together. I know that's a big popular thing, especially in week 1 and week 2 there. So let's open up with the Giants and the Commanders here. 1:00 kick on Sunday. Commanders at home, 6-point favorites, 45.5. Big storyline for the Commanders was the offseason. Terry McLaurin, but he's back in the mix. About 2 weeks to get ready. Your thoughts on McLaurin and 6-point favorites here against the Giants, who look pretty good this preseason?
I don't have a lot of faith in the New York Giants. And I've talked often this offseason right here on this program about how I think Washington has something brewing down there. I think McLaurin, he wasn't a bring him in this late in the offseason. He's been with that team. So even if you make the deal official and he doesn't join training camp right away, he still knows that team. He knows the game plan. He knows the schemes. You add in some other pieces. They bring in a lot of veteran O-line depth. We know how important building in the trenches is here in Philadelphia. I think that's a runaway. I think they beat up on the Giants in that 1:00 game.
I'm having a hard time betting against the Commanders in this one. It's a very popular pick. A lot of people are talking themselves into the Giants. I think that defensive front is for real. I think they're still going to struggle scoring points.
Me too.
And Jaden Daniels is special. He has got that team believing. 6, though, it's tough, but I would probably lay the 6 with the Commanders in that one. I know it's a very popular money line play with the Giants at plus 225. I just think Jaden Daniels is the real damn deal. I think we're all in agreement on that one. It's just not going to be him missing here in week 1. Bengals and Browns, also another spot that people are trying to talk themselves into. The Browns here. Browns are going to be god-awful. They had a win total of 5. I don't care if Joe Flacco's starting. I don't care if it's Shedeur Sanders. I don't care if it's Dylan Gabriel. I don't care if Deshaun Watson comes out there with one leg. The Bengals are going to roll here. It's 5.5, 48.5. Defensively, though, big issues for the Cincinnati Bengals. We know that. But I don't expect them to be as bad as they were last year. So for me, it's another favorite play at minus 5.5 with the Bengals on the road.
I'm kind of surprised it's only 5.5. I think that Cincinnati is a lot of people's darling pick this year. Maybe that's why they keep it close. Again, kind of one of those Vegas knows something the rest of us don't. But Joe Burrow, I would imagine Joe Burrow would pick them apart in week 1. I know he's gotten off to slow starts before, but it would surprise me if this game was close beyond halfway through the second quarter. I'd lay money on Cincy easy.
I like that. Jets and Steelers. I'll take the dog here in this one. They're catching 3 at home, 37.5. That's the Jets, Jets. Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't as bad as his numbers were last year, but he's slow. He's old, and I just don't see them hitting the ground running here in week 1. Could they win by a touchdown? Could they win by more than 3? Sure. But if you're making me make a play in this one, I'm going to take the Jets at home. I'm just not buying into Pittsburgh, being a huge different team here with Rodgers as a starting quarterback. I'll take the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. He's going back there. We'll have to see what Justin Fields looks like. I think he got the start, right? I know that. I think that that's a safe bet. I also think that the Steelers are going to be better than the Jets at the end of the season. I'm going to go different on you this one, just so we're not picking the same thing every single pick. I'm going to take the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are going to light things up, but I think we're going to see a nice connection between Metcalf and Rodgers. Rodgers had some solid numbers by the end of the season. It didn't look as electric as he has in the past, but I think you're going to see an impressive week 1 and get a lot of people buying into them, even if it doesn't look that way all season long.
I was a Spencer Rattler fan on Instagram many, many years ago. He threw this one pass where he wasn't looking, and he just threw it, and it was a thing of beauty. And then I got to watch him in college, and I thought he was a pretty good player too as well. And then I watched him last year at the NFL, and I'm like, oh, man, he stinks. But he's getting the start for the Saints. Here's the thing, though. It's a new day in New Orleans. I know they're not a good team. This is game 1. I think the team is going to have attitude. I think there will actually be some fans in the building. Place will be rocking. And I'm not sold on the Cardinals, and they're giving 6.5 on the road. Yeah, I'll take the 6.5. I'm going to take the Saints at home. I'm going to roll with the dog here. 43.5 is our total in this one. Kellen Moore. It's a new guy in charge down there in New Orleans. Give me the Saints plus 6.5.
I think that the Cardinals will win, but I think the 6.5 is a safe bet because I don't expect it to be a high scoring game. Saints, no matter what they did this offseason, it was going to be tough to really flip the script on their rush defense. It was ranked 31st last season. On the flip side, Cardinals 7th ranked rushing offense last season. I know that it's different teams, but we know what the quarterback can do. We know what they've been able to do with James Conner and some other running backs there as far as scheming those guys up. Because it's going to be run heavy from Arizona, I think that it will be a closer score, which is where the 6.5 comes in. So I think if you're betting on the line, 6.5 is a good bet. If you're picking outright, I'd go Cardinals with the victory.
Yeah, I'm going to take the dog in that one. And hopefully Kellen Moore can get a little bit of that Schottenheimer thing going. Look, Dallas had some fight with them. It's a new season, new day, first game of the year. So the team is going to respond to that. So I'll take the 6.5 there in that one. Next game up, Bucks and Falcons. Really, really fun game. Opening up the season here. 1.5 favorites. Tampa Bay has won the South 4 straight seasons. Will we finally see somebody break through and steal that division? We'll find out. It's a big game. I'm believing in Penix. Maybe I should be leaning towards the Bucks here, 47.5, but I'll take the home Falcons catching 1.5.
I am going to take the Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield has really found himself down there. Great coaching, great defense down in Tampa Bay. I think you're going to see an explosion of offense from the Buccaneers, and I think you're looking at a big day from Baker Mayfield. So I'm going Bucks all day in that one until Penix shows me otherwise. What I saw from the Falcons last season did not inspire me. So give me Tampa Bay.
That's fair. It's hard to argue because of the expectations. And by the way, what Tampa has built over there, they had a great general manager, great playmakers, dealing with some injuries, really good run game, solid defense. Bowles a hell of a coach on the defensive side as well. But give me the Falcons to stir it up, and maybe there's a new sheriff in town as far as the South is concerned. Panthers and Jags, 3.5. Jags are favored at home. Duval, new energy there too as well, 46.5. I'll take the Jags. I'm going to ride with Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor's going to have a bounce back season in a big way. Has some weapons down there. Decent run game. I like the Jags here. I'm not buying into the Panthers.
Can I say I wouldn't put money on this game and I just want to watch to see what Travis Hunter does? Can that be my choice? Because this is not a game that I'm excited about. I think a lot of people have hope that the Jags will look a little bit better. They just seem like a lost franchise right now, and I don't think that there's any guarantee that Trevor Lawrence is ever going to look like the guy he once was. The most interesting thing in that game to me is the play share on both sides of the ball, and to see what Travis Hunter does. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're making me pick something, I'll take the Panthers just to be different. But honestly, I'm not bringing my wallet out anywhere near that one.
That's funny. Yeah, not bringing the wallet out either, but if I'm picking it, give me the Jags. Dolphins and Colts. I like the dog here. I'm surprised that the Colts are favored. Dolphins plus 1.5, 47.5. Danny Dimes, get out of here with that nonsense. Give me the Dolphins on the road.
I could not agree more. The Dolphins, I don't think they'll look like they did when they were putting up, 40-plus points a couple years ago, but what from the Colts has given you any sort of inspiration that they're going to turn things around, especially when they bring in Daniel Jones and he wins the competition. Maybe they prove me wrong. Maybe he looks good and they figured out a way to coach him up. He was a highly touted prospect at one point. Guys do figure it out. Look at the guy I just praised in Baker Mayfield. But I don't think that comes to fruition just yet. Give me Miami, even if it's a close one. I think the points don't matter.
Raiders and Patriots in the 1 o'clock window to close it up there. Interesting game because you have two new head coaches, Pete Carroll and Vrabel. So new vibes. As I said, it applies here where, you don't want to let the coach down. You want to play hard. Who's got better skill position players? It's hard for me to say that the Raiders don't, right? Like, you look across what they have, especially on both sides of the ball, I would probably say the Raiders, that number has come down. It was 3. It's now 2.5. So money coming in on Las Vegas here. But, man, Drake May is pretty damn good. Vrabel at home to open up the season. I would like to see the Patriots get this victory here. I'm leaning towards the Patriots. I think I took the Patriots in the one league I'm in as far as ATS is concerned. I'll go Pats here. But, man, I'm really second-guessing myself.
It's funny that for looking at these teams for the last couple seasons, you might not be excited by this matchup, but there's a lot of intrigue. Like you said, 2 new coaches. What is Drake May going to do? I think everybody, whether you're a fantasy football player or not, is excited about what Ashton Genty can do. I am going to take the Raiders, but I think that you're going to look back on this and be surprised that the Raiders handled the Patriots. That being said, give me the Raiders. I'm going to take the Raiders. I think that they win this one, not by a huge margin, but probably 6 or 7 points.
The Raiders. Titans and Broncos, 8.5. Any chance Titans keep it close?
Yes. I don't know why. I just got this feeling that it's not going to go. I think the Broncos are everybody's darling this season. I think they see a lot of intrigue. I think Cam Ward is going to surprise some people. Not that he's going to be electric all season, but I think week 1, he's going to surprise some people. It's close. They don't win the game, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer than a lot of people expect.
I think Ridley's going to have a good season.
Think so? I wouldn't doubt it.
8.5 seems like it's a lot. Yeah, I'm not really.
I'm not saying it's going to be that, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, unless a blowout by you is a touchdown. I'm thinking 10 points. Picking it, obviously I'm going the other way, but.
Niners and Seahawks. McCaffrey plays. Where are you at with this one? 49ers on the road, 1.5 favorite against Seattle. I think this is a big year for San Francisco. They were extremely disappointing. I think they got some playmakers on. I think that you can run the football against them. It's not the way we think about the 49ers of in the years past, but offensively, I believe in what they have there. I know that they've been dealing with some injuries, especially at the wide receiver position, but Kittle's going to be making plays for him. Good run game. Shanahan always buying in what he's selling. Purdy has proved his worth. So I'm going to take the 49ers in this spot, but maybe without McCaffrey back there, that could be a huge deal, deflating across the board, and it could be the Seahawks in week 1 here.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold, we'll have to see if what he was able to accomplish and learn in Minnesota carries over. I think the bigger story is Seattle's defense looks to be a pretty strong one once again this season. If CMC plays, he's a difference maker no matter how good your defense is. If he doesn't, you got to go the other way. So if you're making a bet today and you're assuming McCaffrey's playing, I'm picking the 49ers without a doubt. If he ends up not playing, obviously it's going to depend on the line, but I think Seattle can pull the victory out regardless.
All right, next game up, Texans and Rams. Interesting game here. Rams at home, 3-point favorites, 43.5. Houston, great defense. LA, oh man, I can't wait to see what Devontae Adams looks out there with Stafford at the quarterback position. Puka, I think it's Cooper Kupp times 10 with Devontae Adams. I really do believe it, as good as Cooper Kupp was, but he's been banged up. I don't think he's had a complete season in like 3 straight years, if I'm not mistaken, but he's out. He's in Seattle, a matter of fact, but Rams 3-point favorites. I'm actually going to take the Texans in this one. I believe in the defense. I like CJ Stroud. I think the Texans go in there and find a way to win. I took them on the money line at plus 140. Give me the Texans.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do we know, is Stafford good to play? Is he definitely playing?
He's definitely playing.
Okay.
Definitely.
To me, that's all you need to know. If Stafford's in the game, I think they have a strong defense, and I think Stafford's good enough to get it done against them. I think the Texans are going to look better than a lot of people expect. What they did on the offensive line, they added another weapon in the draft in the first round, but the veterans that they added to the offensive line is going to be the difference maker for me, allowing CJ Stroud to keep things close. That being said, if I'm making a wager, I'm definitely going with. Ooh, sorry, I'm going with the Rams.
You all right? You don't want to take the Rams. That's what happened.
No, I did. I said the Rams at the top.
I can't believe I'm don't want to take that. All right, in the final game, I can't wait to get your thoughts on this one. Being up there for it last year when 2-point conversion falls through Mark Andrews' hands, and the Bills end up winning and roll on. They're running it back. Sunday Night Football. Bills here catching 1.5 is the wrong team favored.
Ooh, man. Probably, yeah. I mean, it's going to be a damn good game regardless, but I think that's Sean, you're asking me a lot here. These are 2 great teams. I was just on the Fantastic Sports Show, and our bold predictions, Jason's was that the Bills make the Super Bowl. Mine was that the Ravens make the Super Bowl. And the only reason I didn't go with the Bills is because he picked them first. So
it's going to be a bold prediction because it's not the Chiefs?
Basically, yeah.
Oh. It's like, wait, what?
They unseat them. That's big, right?
Is it
you unseat the team that's made it 4 of the last 5 years?
In the hierarchy as far as bold takes are concerned, I think it's low on the chart, but it is bold. I won't deny that. I'm trying to pull up the odds real quick as far as futures are concerned to win. Yeah, dude, they got better odds than the Chiefs. No, it's not bold. It's not bold. The Bills and the Ravens are tied at the top 6-1. Then the Eagles at 7-1. Then the Chiefs at plus 850. Come on.
You know what? Okay, here's the official pick for that Sunday night game then.
Yes. Tell me.
I think the difference maker, the reason I said the Ravens would make it, is how much improved they are in an already stout defensive side of the ball. I think what they're able to do with Jair Alexander coming in, giving Kyle Hamilton more flexibility, I think that's going to be a difference maker. I don't know. I'm not good at making odds, but I think the Ravens will win that game in week
1. Because I was leaning towards the Bills, but I like where your mind is at with the Ravens there. That's Sunday Night Football. We got some time until we got to decide whether or not we're going to take that game or not, but it's definitely something that will be on the card because, of course, football is back in our lives. You got to love it. All right. Great job. We went down the board, something that I would like to do with you throughout the course of this season, sir. So nice work by you on that one. And again, you're just getting your season started. You're heading out to Green Bay to be on the sideline for CBS Sports. Can't wait, my friend, to be looking for you. That's going to be a great game, and enjoy it. Safe travels. Eagles are 1-0. We're good. We roll on, baby. But tonight we got ourselves a good one. Looking forward to that. Phillies, big-time victory there. They got to just continue to do what they're doing. And the Dodgers, hey, if they want to lose the rest of the way, we're fine with that as well.
Yeah, get that second bye. Heck, that series victory gets you one step closer to that number 1 spot. It's a little bit of a stretch, but big series coming up. The Marlins always play them well. Not too worried about this weekend. Big series against the Mets next week back in Citizens Bank Park.
Oh, we do have a comment coming in. John Fisher wants to know, who is this guy? Yeah, come on, man. Who's this guy giving picks? Yeah, he knows a thing or two about a thing or two as well. The Fisher brothers.
He does.
Love that. Kyle, great stuff, man. Looking forward to the football season. It's here. Enjoy being back out in the sideline, man. I gotta imagine that's like a kid in a candy store deal. So nice work again, being back out there on the sidelines for CBS Sports. We'll be watching for you. Safe travels. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch up next week.
Appreciate you, sir. Talk to you then.
My man, there he is, Kyle Fisher on the Gambler stream. Very cool. Make a pick. He says, "Yeah, make a pick." Sometimes I gotta yell at your brother. Sometimes I gotta, convince him. Get in there and give me a pick. Kyle is fantastic. You can find him on socials at Kyle Fisher 45. Real easy to do so. And continue to read all of the great content over there at Philly Sports Network. They got a great crew over there. Do nice work covering all things Philadelphia sports. Once again, Philadelphia SN. All right, that's going to do it for me here on our first Football Friday NFL edition. Looking forward to tonight. Going to be enjoying this game with my eye on Xavier Worthy more than anything. I think the Chiefs are to play, but love to see the Chargers sneak one out in game one. Have bet against the Chiefs in game one. Matter of fact, last year, even though they won that game, they did not cover against the Ravens. I think I did it 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not opposed to going against the Chiefs in these spots. But tonight, I think it's a Chiefs play. Brazil kind of changes things up just slightly, but it's going to be a fun game. Friday Night Lights on YouTube. How about that? Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Jam-packed weekend of programming for us here on The Gambler, starting tomorrow at 9 a.m. live from Park Sportsbook Casino. Dick Girardi, Mike Kern, followed by Mark Henry Jr. at 11 a.m. College football rundown show, myself and Beef, live at 3:30. Villanova football taking on Colgate. That's coming your way at 6 p.m. Sunday, we're doing it again. Countdown to payout. Be back out here at 11 a.m. with Roy Burton and the Gambler Gang, getting you ready for all things 1 p.m. kickoffs and more. And then we're back at it next week. Jam-packed week of programming, of course, talking about things Eagles and Phillies. Coming up next, the College Football Sickos show. Joe Tanzi, Mark Henry Jr., and Ryan Beef Coyle. They'll take over from 5 to 6 p.m. Everybody, enjoy your weekend. How about them Eagles? 1-0. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.
Looking for something new? Try fencing, the Olympic and Paralympic sport that mixes speed, strategy, and fun. It's like chess meets cardio. Quick feet, quick